Welcome to Biology My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. We are learning the chapter Motion. We will understand now two other concepts, speed and velocity. So, suppose these two quantities actually tell us about how fast an object is moving or how slow an object is moving. So, here speed, we all know that it is the measure of the distance travelled in time. For example, suppose you are running or you are walking 4 kilometers, okay, and even I am walking 4 kilometers, okay. So we both are covering 4 kilometers distance. So we are not talking about the time in which we complete the task. We are just walking 4 kilometers. But later, if I include the parameter of time, I am seeing that I can walk 4 kilometers in maybe 40 minutes. But the same distance you covered in 38 minutes. Okay. So here comes who is faster, who is slower. I found that you are faster than me because you covered the same distance in a shorter period of time. You know that when we go for walking also, sometimes people walk very casually. We are just walking and covering the distance. We are just thinking about the steps that we are supposed to cover. But another time we are telling, okay, brisk walk is better for burning calories. So we make it faster. So that is the, suppose if you jog, you may finish the same distance in a even lesser period of time. So when we talk about the distance, so speed is distance travelled upon time. So total distance, how much you are travelling per time is speed. So speed can be represented by the letter V. So distance travelled we already learned, it is represented as S and time is T. So we can say V is equal to S upon T. Now, are we talking about any direction? No, I just told we walked 4 kilometers. You must have walked towards east, I must have walked towards west and then turned to east and south or whatever direction. We are not talking about direction. So this is a scalar quantity because we are talking only about the magnitude. Now what about the unit? SI unit, if you see, the distance unit is meter, time unit is second. So it is meter per second, or if you bring s to the numerator, it will become m s to the power of -1 meter per second. So that is the unit of speed. Okay. So these are the things you have to know about speed. But imagine when we are walking, we are not walking at the same pace. For example, first I walk slowly, then I think, okay, I have to make little faster. I walked faster. But then I come across my friend who walks along with me. Then I slow down and we started talking. Okay. So different speed I am attaining at a different time. But ultimately I am finishing 4 kilometers. So here comes average speed. So average speed is nothing but total distance covered by total time. So here total distance covered is 4 kilometers. And how much time I took? 40 minutes I took. Okay. So here we are not talking about how much I covered or how fast I walked, this distance how much I walked, the other distance how much I walked, nothing we are considering. Total distance covered by total time. For example, I am driving a car. First 1 hour I am going at 80 kilometers per hour. So I covered 80 kilometers in 1 hour. Another 3 hours I could cover only 120 kilometers. So total distance is 120 plus 80, that is 200, by total time is 4 hours. So I covered 50 kilometers per hour on an average. So this is my average speed. But that doesn't mean that every 1 hour or equal intervals I was traveling at 50. No, sometimes I was 80 kilometers per hour. Sometimes I sped up to 120, then slowed down to 60. So it was varying, but my average speed is this. Now let's talk about velocity. See, speed means distance by time. We are not considering any direction. But if we tell in which direction we are traveling in a particular time, then that is called a velocity. So speed and velocity are almost same, but only thing, speed we are not bothered about the direction, but velocity we consider the direction. So for example, if I am walking again 4 kilometers in 40 minutes towards the south. Okay, so that is my velocity. So here I am talking about the direction as well. So the speed is distance traveled by time. So velocity is again considered v only, but distance traveled in a particular direction upon time. But if the distance traveled is in a particular direction, we can call it as displacement. So displacement upon time is velocity. What is the SI unit again? Meter per second, or ms to the power of -1. But this is a vector quantity because we are taking into consideration the direction as well. But the velocity can be two types, that is uniform velocity and non-uniform or variable velocity. So if a body covers equal distance in equal intervals of time in a particular direction, then we call it as uniform velocity. For example, first 10 minutes 10 meters, another 10 minutes 10 meters, another 10 minutes 10 meters. So every time the time interval is 10 minutes and the distance covered is also 10 meters. Okay, so both are equal, then we call it as uniform velocity. But what is non-uniform velocity? For example, if this is traveling first 10 minutes 10 meters, another 10 minutes it is traveling 25 meters, then next 10 minutes it is traveling 5 meters. So if a body covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time, we call it as what? Variable velocity. But we know that velocity not only depends upon the distance traveled, but it also depends upon the direction. So even if it is constantly moving, but if it keeps on changing the direction, for example, first 10 minutes it's traveling 10 meters, next 10 minutes also it is traveling 10 meters, next 10 minutes also it is traveling 10 meters, but here the direction keeps changing. So if direction changes also, we can say the velocity changes. So if it is not, even though it is moving equal distances in equal interval of time, but the direction is changing, then we cannot say it is in a uniform velocity, but it has variable velocity. And there is a third condition, a body covering unequal distances in equal intervals of time and keeps on changing its direction, because both distance covered changes, direction changes also, we can say that it is with a variable velocity. So velocity can be changed by different distance covered, or it can change by changing the direction, or both can affect velocity. Now how will you find out average velocity? We learned average speed was equal to total distance covered by total time taken. But average velocity is considered, V average we can say, is considered as initial velocity plus final velocity by 2. That is, initial velocity is considered is u, final velocity is considered v, upon 2 we will get average velocity. So if distance traveled by time is calculated, that is speed, but distance traveled in a definite direction, that is displacement upon time, we consider it as velocity. Speed is a scalar quantity because we are not considering direction, only magnitude is there, whereas velocity is a vector quantity because we are considering magnitude as well as direction. So the speed is measured as meter per second, SI unit of velocity is also meter per second. Hope you find my videos useful. If so, please like, share and subscribe to my channel Biology My Passion. Thank you for watching.